Our next speaker is Sharry Edwards. And most of you know I know these people from a long time ago. We've all been in this a long time. It's like we just keep going and going. Because I met you at least over 20 years ago, probably 25.
We're young at heart.
We're young at heart, Jesus. But I met you when you were first starting out, and it was kind of a revolutionary idea then, and it's still a little revolutionary. But Sharry is a pioneer in sound healing. And when my work, we're finding out the days of Atlantis and all those times way back in ancient civilizations, they used sound and color to heal. It's all coming back again. It's never really been lost. We're bringing back the new, old information. And she has been using sound healing for a long time. And he said, now you're recognized by doctors and hospitals. You work with law enforcement because they're recognizing the value of it. And you have your own institute now. And I might be saying this wrong, but she's found that everyone has a tone. We all have a vibration and a frequency. And if you can find your individual tone, that's what heals you, isn't it? I guess it keeps the body in balance. Is that what it is? Keeps you in tune. That's a good way to put it. So she's going to be doing a lot of interactive things with the audience. But if you can find that tone that is yours, that's worth so much because you can heal your body. And you're going to be giving away free software outside.
Yes, we gave them a little card to give it to, and we gave them the code word, which they will not mention.
Can't mention the code word. Okay. And she has it out at her booth, which is just outside of the room here. Okay. All right, we're going to let Sharry take it away, and your mic is working okay then.
I think so.
Okay.
Thank you, Dolores.
All right.
This guy here in the front row, your energy pattern is so loud. There's an issue with your left leg and hip. When he walks, does his left foot turn out a bit? Could I do your sound?
Sure.
Okay, just talk to me.
Hello, Sharry.
Okay? Big talker.
What do you want me to say?
You are a note of E. So let's look and see if any of these are spine. It is spine that controls the turnout of the left leg. S2. These are called sono cards. They're called sono cards, sound cards. This lady right here in the audience, she does sounds too. Would you honor me and let me do your sound?
I would love it.
Okay.
Just stir up my heart.
And just talk to me.
My name is Linda Joy.
I'm going to have to turn off my mic to do this one. A B, a giver, a person that is in tune in between dimensions. There you go. It's a Pisces energy, a harmony, a need for harmony. Your parents, a need for energy. Would anybody in this audience who does not have an energy body, would you leave, please? Why are you laughing? Because you know you have one, right? But can you prove it? You can prove you have an energy body, Linda? She zapped the computer. Everybody has an energy body. From the beginning of time, there's energy bodies, and we try to find out where they're from. So I'm going to start a PowerPoint now. Find my little tweaker here. Anybody in the audience have a backache from sitting in this? You do? Okay, this is called a little back box. And it is designed to take away the stress. Now, have you had an operation or something that's making your back hurt? Well, is that where it hurts? No. Well, this may work and it may not, because if you've had an operation and they've moved things around. But just put that on you. You should hear a very low-pitched sound, like, and you can make it go up and down. And we'll check with you in a few minutes, because what we did is your brain speaks math, and we put the math on for your spine to walk up and down those little multifida muscles up and down your spine. So we'll check back with you in a few minutes. We're manipulating her energy body. So, whoops, one too many. Oh, you had that one. I am from an Institute of Bioacoustic Biology and Sound Health. We're from Southern Ohio. I'm probably standing in somebody's way. We occupy all 3 floors of this building. It's about 9,000 square feet. We have our own studio and our own media staff, our own classrooms. And we started in my garage 20, 30 years ago, so I'm very happy that we now have a real place to be, a real home. And the reason I'm here is I went on Dolores's show on BBS Radio, and she said, this is important, powerful stuff. You need to come and share it with the audience, and you need to show them how to do it, because our people are how-to people. So we are going to do that today, to talk to you very esoterically and very scientifically at the same time. I have 1 foot in esoteric and 1 foot in science, and nobody claims me. So I'm kind of out here by myself. This is a book written by Sylvia Franck, Tree of Life and the Holy Grail. And it's written about the Da Vinci Code, the Templar information, and about how those sets of frequencies and healing frequencies have come down through the ages with Royal Rife and Tesla and Wilhelm Reich and Rudolf Steiner. And she put in the back of this book, Modern Keepers of the Holy Grail. And somebody brought me this book and said, look, you're in this book. And I'm going, huh? I am so honored. I read what she wrote, and it was so graceful. And I didn't know this woman. But I knew from what she read that I was really sane, because I had been hearing sounds all of my life and nobody could explain it, like this, and stopping blood and having people get rid of headaches and those kinds of things. And I just thought I was schizophrenic. A successful one, but it was okay. But she explained it to me, where this power, where this information was coming from. We already knew it scientifically because we'd looked at my ears and done a lot of other things with it, but we really didn't understand what it had to do with the world of healing, the world of helping your brain, of correcting your body. And then she said, well, modern keeper of the Holy Grail information. This is in your genes, it's in your dynamics, it's in your being, it's in your energy body. That's where it's coming from. And I'm from Appalachia, where education is not revered. I am the first person in my entire family to finish high school. But I had a strong intuition all my life, and I taught parapsychology and how to do this stuff for about a decade at the university there, and wrote my thesis on psychic ability and that energy and what we call ESP and those kinds of things, and how to contain it, how to use it, how to know how you're vulnerable and also your strengths with it. And I've always said that to be a good psychic is the willingness to make a fool out of yourself. So we're going to talk about, is frequency our new medicine or an ancient mystery revealed? And with Sylvia Franck and her book and her information, I think it is. We're going to talk about every body has a sound, a signature sound, a keynote, and you're going to be shown how to do that. And we're going to show the voice as a holographic representation of the mind, body, and spirit. And then talk about this inner sense software that we want to share with you. So today's schedule that you can't see at the top there is to bring you some information and then do a workshop so that I can put in your hands tools so that you can monitor your own health, the health of your family, the health of your community. We're particularly interested in the returning soldiers that are coming back with PTSD, and I just talked to one of our doctors who is an advocate for the state of Ohio, and he says the government is encouraging MDs not to provide the diagnosis for PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, because they're saying to these doctors, if you diagnose them with that, we'll have to pay for it. So it's going to be up to us to make a difference for these folks that are coming back. We are also very scientific in that we have our own journal. That's free and it's online. It's at the bottom there, jbab.org. We're going to look at the idea of color. I'm not sure you have the right PowerPoint up. What do you have up? Canon 2? It needs to be Canon 2. Okay. And I'll play with the audience a little bit more while this is going on. We can do your signature sound from your birthday. When's your birthday? April 9th. So you're an Aries. So you're a note of C. You're both Aries. I only have one card. Can you share? Okay. Same date. Same year? Oh, thank goodness. I bet one of you's left brain and one of you's right, and that's the only way you get along. Right. Okay. When's your birthday?
I'm an Aries too, but she's not Libra. September 25th. I'm kind of on the time.
Okay. We'll give you an F note. How's that? Anybody else want to play? Oh, lots of you. When's your birthday? G, Scorpio? Sag? Sag is G sharp. I don't think I have a G sharp. Does that say G sharp up there in the corner? All right. You can see what kind of person you really are. The email for Sharry. Oh, you can email me Sharry on air, SHARRY on air at gmail.com. Gmail.com. When's your birthday? You're what? Scorpio. I don't have a Scorpio. I'll go get one. Okay, you ready? Hit it. Okay, can we go back? Oh, I'll go back a few. Okay. Starting with Dolores again. I'll get your Scorpio in a minute. So we're going to talk about a technology today that is indistinguishable from magic. And you'll find some of the things that are just incredibly hard to believe that we've been able to do at our little center there. We look at the voice as a holographic representation. You have an energy body. We just played with it here a little bit. I'm going to ask you to volunteer next. And this doesn't hurt much. I'm going to snap me with it, right? So I want to touch your finger. Turn this over hand. Okay. Did you feel that? Would you join us here? Tap your finger. Well, yeah, what we're doing is running all this energy through everybody. She's a clear channel. She ouched it. But we could do that with everybody in here as an energy body. And we just found a way to measure the energy body through the voice using math. We could use any kind of thing. We could use your iris of your eye, the way your feet are shaped. We're always curious about what we need to know. Question way back there. Would that be okay, Greg, to turn the lights out so we could see the presentation? Kevin, can you find out something? Kevin's going to check it for us. Okay, back to this. So we look at the voice because the voice has patterns in it, and we just broke those codes of the patterns. And we know that bioacoustically speaking, your body has the ability to self-diagnose and heal itself. If it didn't, a cut would never heal without you concentrating on it. You'd never get pregnant if you didn't expect it. So your body knows what to do all by itself. And we do two types of things. We do vocal profiling, which is what we're doing out here in the booth and teaching you to do this. And then we do sound presentation. And when we do sound presentation, we run your brain waves artificially. How's your back?
It's somewhat better. What I could feel was every now and then there'd be like almost like wind coming down and then into the back of my leg. So
It's realigning things. Do you want to give it back or do you want to keep it for a bit? Oh,
somebody else needs it.
if it's taking care of your pain, just go ahead and use it till it isn't taking care of it anymore. She's using this little box. We have been around for many years. We have been in over 40 books, countless publications. This is our new CD, and I'm going to tell you about that particular architecture in a minute, because it has a lot to do with the Templars. I see a lot of Templar information being sold in here. People got it on their T-shirts. There's some secrets in that. So this is Breaking the Sound Barriers of Disease, and it has on it miracles of non-medicine at the same time. And it's about some of the doctors that work with us. We also have a Good Vibrations video that you can download from our website. This you can get from Amazon, another documentary about our work. There's been 12 so far. PBS has done a 3-part series on what we do. So you're wondering why you've never heard about it, right? Because we don't advertise much, or didn't until a few years ago, because of threats with the FDA and that kind of thing. We really felt that if we talked about this openly, that we would be stopped. And so we've kept pretty much underground. Where'd that come from? Oh, okay. We know that each journey toward change starts with an idea. From the conscious and unconscious mind. It's unconscious, it becomes conscious, then it's an idea, not from science. And so what's all that silly stuff about double-blind studies? And I think that proves something. It only proves something that we thought about a long time ago. And by the way, can you prove creativity? Either. So science only substantiates what we in the esoteric and intuitive field already know. We talked about these two things from the other PowerPoint, Sylvia Frank's book, and then the scientific part of this, the Journal of Bioacoustic Biology. So we're going to talk about, we already said this, frequency of the new medicine, and the thing down below there that you can't hardly see, because my little PowerPoint here won't work. There it goes. guardiansofthepeople.com, but you don't have to write that down. It's all over the stuff I already gave you. Everybody has a sound. Voice is a holographic representation of the body, mind, and spirit. And then the software, we talked about this. So this is where it left off last time. Today's schedule to bring you information that we're going to move through quickly, and then do a workshop and teach you how to use this software that will allow you to take a look at your secret self. Things that you may think you know about yourself and really don't. Things that you think you want, and you want something totally different. The movie The Secret said to us, we can have what we want with our intention, but it left out the fact of what do we really want? Where do your rights stop? What if you want your neighbor's wife? You know, who gets to choose? So there's some ideas of what needs to go on. I was doing a workshop in California, at Michael Beckwith's church, and he's in The Secret. And a woman came up to me right before the workshop, and she said, "I'm going to be your guinea pig for tonight." And I thought, well, Michael sent her, maybe. And so I said, well, by whose authority? And she said, mine. The Secret said I could have what I want, and that's what I want, and that's what's going to happen. I said, The Secret forgot to tell you that your rights stop where mine start. And so if she'd have really tested her voice of this is what I want and I'm going after it, she would have seen it narrowed her voice down. It didn't provide harmonics, and so that's not really what she wanted. So we're going to start in the beginning of the very ancient stuff. Oh, I love reading this. According to the Word of God and the mandates of science, everything is frequency, and frequency is everything. Science shares this thought by stating that the most common denominator of all structure, the atom, is energy, a form of frequency. An expression attributed to God states that in the beginning was the Word. And since sound is also frequency, God now joins science in the observation that at its foundation, frequency is the basis of our universe. And that's what all of you are working with. That's what these wonderful skulls over there, it's all a shape, it's a frequency. And it's a form, and it's a frequency. It's an emotion, and it's a frequency. It's Tylenol, and it's a frequency. It's soda pop, and a frequency. It's this table, and it's a frequency. That's how we measure what's going on. Everything is frequency, not just radio waves and infrareds and microwaves. Yes, that's all a form of frequency, and it's all on a range of frequency. You can hear 8 octaves of frequency. You can see 1 octave. So people that are doing visualization with colors only use 1 octave. People who use sound use 8 octaves of sound, and you'll learn what the differences in those ranges mean. This is about our frequency-based universe and how we became to be. If you take the frequency of water and add it to the frequency of nitrogen, putting it in both ears, your brain will turn it to oxygen. Isn't that an awesome thing? Just math. If you take oxygen and add hydrogen frequencies together, it creates water. If you take water minus oxygen, it equals hydrogen. You see a pattern beginning to form here? We need sulfur now. Hydrogen minus, or water minus hydrogen, ammonia. Carbon, we're creating carbon dioxide. The more these frequencies bombard and combine, and if we have scientists in the audience, they'll say, oh, that's crazy, but we really do have some scientific back for this. So as we go along, it becomes more and more compounds until you get over here and we're creating sex hormones and reproduction, and thank you. And in the beginning, this is how it all started. This is how our universe came together, and we are part of that as frequencies bombarded and made new things all along. What we do is also in the Bible code. Are you familiar with that book? I didn't believe it in the beginning, but statistically it's incredible. So it has these words in it, up and down, sort of like a crossword puzzle, and diagonally even, and we found ourselves in the Bible code. This was very confirming to me. When I ask where this information comes from, it's a sound, but it sort of sounds like ayah when I meditate. Princess Diana and the information about her is in there 6 times. John F. Kennedy's mentioned twice. This ahia is an ancient word for God. And it means stay the course. And boy, if I'd have believed in any scientist, I would have quit a long time ago, because I would have known what I've done is impossible and it couldn't be done. Anuba, a new bioacoustic, is our very first computer program. It means father. I thought I made that word up. Bera, a bioacoustic research associate. This is what the credentials that people get if they take our course. 11,000 times The root of to create. Pre-vaccination risk factors, that's if you get a vaccination and you get damaged, we can help with that. And Savani is one of our research programs. But not only did we find ourselves in there just as plain words, we found ourselves in patterns of doubles and triples in hundreds of matches. So, how long have we been preparing for this time? Who wrote the Bible code? How did we get here? Where's God? Who's God? Lots of God's representatives here, but we still don't know where he, she is. They've done some studies with flowers and trees and found out that they have an energy pattern. It's called a morphogenic resonance. And they change the resonance and they change the color of the petals or the shape of the leaf. So why not take it a step further and say, if we change our sound, our frequency by intention or anything else, then it's going to change us. It's going to change back pain. Or we've regrown teeth. We've gotten rid of macular degeneration. Is it done? Okay, does anybody else have a backache? Want to try this? You want to go over there and give her a demo? Show her how to use it? So this is some of Rupert Sheldrake's work, but we're working with the body energy and trying to ask questions about what is the body energy. Is it an aura, as you often see around Jesus? And we have an aura camera over here. Is it acupuncture? Is it white light, Reiki, Chi, prana, intention, laying on of hands? Is it x-rays, CAT scans, MRIs, sonograms? So you can see there the blending of the esoteric and the science and trying to look at that energy body. The energy body can also be shape. This is from the Smithsonian Institute, and this is the Iceman. He's about 8,000 years old, and they found these little symbols on him, and these correspond to arthritic tattoos, and they put them in certain places of the body to get rid of arthritis. So they knew this zillions of years ago, probably through looking at acupuncture. It's also shape in the Egyptian culture. This is berry juice used to make shapes that they put on dissolvable paper. They put it in water and had people drink it. And that was to take care of what was going on with them. So this idea of putting frequency into water that you see around all the time, nothing new. Energy body as communication. Ancient, the most ancient one here is acupuncture, and that's been around for a lot of years, and it has stood the test of time, and it's now insurance paid. So it's the biggie. And they have proven that acupuncture really is real. They took a dog and they put phosphorus into an acupressure point, and they watched it move all throughout the body. Exactly what the Chinese was saying all along. Then they took phosphorus and they put it in just a muscle, and it stayed right there. There is this energy body that we're looking at, and we try to get to it in many ways. Toning, singing, bowls, mediumship, MRIs. We try to find it in a way. It's in our nervous system, looking at the neural network in your body and all the neurosynapses. If we took everything away from you but your nerves, we could still identify you as Margaret. Because there's so many, on each one of those nerves, there is a frequency that goes back through the spinal column to the brain, and everything goes to the brain as a frequency. You see something, and you're looking at trillions of cycles per second. The eye takes it in, changes it to electrical, chemical energy, sends it to the brain, and the brain says, oh, I received an input in that range. That's visual input. That's how I interpret it. Same with hearing, 14 cycles per second on up to about 20,000. Touch frequency, about 3 cycles per second on up. So everything is changed into frequency by your body, sent to the brain for interpretation. There are even sacred places on the planet where sacred sounds. One of the most astounding ones to me is Machu Picchu, there on the left, in Peru, because this is put on a high mountain, and there's one space that you can go sit. They call it the swimming pool, but that's what it looks like. There's a cutout edge in the valley. But if you sit there, the whole valley sings back your sound. It's incredible. We need to go and have a trip for people there so you can hear your own signature sound. Awesome. We have turned sound into radios and gongs and brain waves and architectures, forms, everything. Sound, vibration, voice, and light. It's all frequency. We even have a thing now for bad frequency. If you see this on a building, that frequency is causing sickness. Frequency sickness. You know, instruments from every range on through. We're looking at frequency. Frequency is shape. Frequency is song. Frequency is a pebble dropped into water. And we're looking at it in a different way now. We're going to look at frequency as a rainbow. We're going to look at these colors around because that has the answer. The answer was right above your nose and the way you look at color and the way you combine colors. And that is what's in that Templar cross. Codes as to how to combine these colors. We're looking at the vocal codes of the voice. Everyone's is individual. Everyone has their own signature sound. You have your own gifts that you're looking at, your worry, your guilt, your outside influence. We can look at it all and see what's really going on in your system by taking that color of the rainbow and putting it in a wheel and looking at what each one of those notes indicate from the research that we've done. Now, you can download any of these things that you see here, this wheel, at Guardians, that's plural, guardiansofthepeople.com, and you can pick up a card with that address out on the booth. So in the beginning, when we started using these sounds, I have very unusual hearing, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But when I heard people's sounds, I usually heard it in ratios of 3, 6, and 9. And then I found in the Bible where the healing codes are the ratios of 3, 6, and 9. And this isn't, I can't work this machine. This is supposed to be 3 pyramids put together into one. And I have it here on my name card. So we started using formulas using that 3, 6, and 9. And you'll see a lot of people using it. Lynn Horowitz uses the 3, 6, and 9. But we found something beyond that. When you take those 3 pyramids together and they cast a shadow, the shadow they cast is a Maltese cross. And in that Maltese cross is the architecture that allows you to heal your body. I can say allows you to heal your body. The only thing I can say we do is relieve the stress of your back pain. And you relieve the stress, it helps your immune system, and you get well. How's your back? You're good? Great. So in looking at each of these, we found a way to tap into your skin, to the nerves, and back to the brain, so that we can share with you information on how to have dominion over everything that you are. A broken bone, we have sounds for that, like the tricorder on Star Trek. Fibromyalgia, we have sounds for that. Somebody back here had stiff muscles, we have frequencies for that. We got a little machine out there, we'll put them on, sit down, and you can see how frequency can artificially entrain your brain waves, and you don't have to be sick anymore. But think about the potential of that. What's going to happen when we're all well? What will we have to do then? Where would we spend our money? We call this idea breaking the sound barriers of disease. And we're writing a book about that. This is kind of an odd thing. This is a research project that we did. And I was doing a sound for someone. We were all hooked up to all this machinery. And this in the middle is the beat frequency of the sound. Just like I did your sound James, Joe. When I do that, your brain, or your heart and my heart begin to move in rhythm. Not only that, but our brain waves begin to move in rhythm. And if you've heard about the heart-brain stuff, the rhythm of the heart and the frequency of the brain together helps integrate and put you in tune. But it gets worse. When we were doing this experiment, and I had to reach over and do this lady's sound, and you saw how I clasped her hand, I said, could I just clasp her hand so I'd have a point of concentration? And the scientists doing this noticed that that hand clasp spoiled it all there by hitting the wrong button. This hand clasp was in the vocal print. And he said, look outside, look out that window and don't tell me what you see, just do a sound. So I did the sound, and it was a mosque that I was looking at. And there it is in the vocal print. He said, now close your eyes and think of something. Don't tell me what it is. And so I was thinking of church bells. And there they are. And in case you think that's not strange, this is a normal human vocal print over here on the left. So there's something in my voice, the properties of my voice, and we found that the harmonics are different. Most humans have 1 to 5 or 1 to 7 harmonics. My harmonics are 1 to 6. That is the combination of frequencies that the Catholic Church outlawed. They called it the devil's triad. And they didn't allow the Catholic Church to have any music with that relationship because it would give you the power. These frequencies and all these little curly cues and things is the same kind of pattern that energy comes to us from outer space every day, and it's in a 24-hour cycle, it's in a 30-day cycle, it's in a year cycle, and there are frequencies that come at you. Like we just got over one, can't remember, I think it was herpes, where the frequencies of herpes was coming to the planet. So anybody who had a flare-up, was not from their worry or whatever causes herpes. It was from the frequencies coming to the planet. And the same thing with allergies and those kinds of things. And we can watch that every day and tell you what's going to hurt, what kind of diseases you're going to be susceptible to. And again, back to this same idea that we use the colors and the complementary colors, and we relate them to frequencies, and we provide those frequencies to you, and the body heals itself. Each note has a correlate. The note of C is large muscles, self-power, the heart. The note of C sharp is tendons and ligaments. You can download this one from guardiansofthepeople.com also. So we're looking at the brain as math. Everything that happens in the body reaches the brain as a biofrequency. What is then sorted, I can't even read that, sorted, routed, and assigned an interpreter and delegator. This book is by Brian Butterworth, and he's the one that proved that the brain is hardwired for math. And your vocal cords also have math. Our brain communicates using the language of math expressed as frequencies in the voice. And there's vocal codes inside our language. There's studies done in each country where they have different scales. A note of A might be 440 in one country and 436 in another country, depending on the language. As man evolved, language became levels of intricate harmony nestled within structures of great elegance. We tell people things all the time by the frequencies we speak, not necessarily the words, but the frequencies we speak. I was sitting at dinner last night with somebody, and he was speaking, and you could tell he was so tender-hearted. He got hurt so easily, personally, But he never said that, but you could feel it in his voice. So there's vocal pathways to the brain through the vagus nerve, the 10th vagus nerve, and there it is. If you stutter, they'll cut that nerve and you'll quit stuttering. So your voice has a direct network, conduit to your brain. So this is how we've shown that the voice and the brain are connected. Life and living, like music, has energy patterns of creation and resolution because our brain and our biology are hardwired to respond to the basic principles of math. That's a fact. Tens units, MRIs. Even our entertainment brings this up. The Da Vinci Code. They are looking for a lost symbol. Dan Brown in The Symbol, which is going to be the next movie about the Da Vinci Code, talks about this lost symbol, and they're looking for it. We found it. I called their agent, and I said, do you want the next book to be about the real symbol? Because we've proven the math in the Templar cross is the same math that keeps your body whole and healthy. The question from the audience, what did they say? I love your accent. She said, we'll call you if we need you. Absolutely not. But when I write the book, they're going to kick themselves because we're the real deal. We look at the voice as frequencies. And 0 to 64 cycles per second in your voice, that's where the predictive stuff is, where people are going to get a cold or they have a Epstein-Barr coming up. We can see it in there. Frequency by its range from about 100 to 512. That's now. That's where you have a headache, smashed your thumb with a hammer. And from 512 on, that's long term. So we can see where your stress is coming from. And we use this idea of frequency equivalence, a frequency representation of anything, of zinc, of an amino acid, of your genetics. People who have insulin resistance because a receptor's not open, you can't go buy an insulin receptor at the store. Maybe they could kill a pig and find you one or something. But we can do it with frequency. We can open or shut those receptors for insulin or anything else going on in your body. We just worked with a little girl who had leukemia, and she needed stem cells. We gave her stem cells by frequency. She had about 6 weeks to live, and she seems to be gaining strength and doing okay. We can translate almost anything into frequency except plastic. I cannot hear plastic. It just doesn't have a life force. I can hear yours and the dogs, and wood and plants, and that's how a lot of the database got together, and then we went and proved it, that if we give you this frequency, this will happen in your body. So we got a big database together of these frequency equivalents, down to muscles and their relationship even to nutrients. Like vitamin D is this middle finger. So your vitamin D gets low and that might get swollen or stiff. So we've been able to cross-reference the body. We also have a nutritional consultant. How many of you take vitamins? You're among millions who take vitamins. How many know exactly which ones to take every day? One hand. That's wonderful. Because we can look at your nutrients and we can tell you what nutrients you need, what's low, and also what nutrients you are not using and what nutrients you need to make those useful. It's an incredibly wonderful program. We just gave this away last month to a large group of people. And next month we're giving away the muscles program. So if you want to be part of that group, come see us at the table. This is the kind of report that comes out. There's vitamins. Vitamin C is way too low in this person's chart. Ascorbic acid also. orotic acid, riboflavin is too high. Retinol, vitamin A, is too high. So we can look at all of these that are too high, what causes retinol to be useful in the body, and we can force your body to use it like it should, because we lost some frequencies somewhere out of our brain and things aren't working. Everything affects your voice and your brain. Equipment, food, water, bad sex, your kids, your car, the hum, music, everything affects your voice. And we can look at it. You'll see one of the things up here is aspartame and how to look at that. But you can go down through here and look at all of these reports. This is one of the case studies that we did that a guy came in, very famous guy who doesn't want us to use his name, and he was facing hip surgery, and he was a doctor. And his was really quick. It only took us about 20 minutes. And he was up dancing. And he said, "Well, this is a miracle." And he had arthritic bacteria in that joint, and that's what was causing his pain. And we were able to control the pathogen. He said, "We'll get you money. We'll get you a school." He bopped in on his own plane. The airport's next to us. And he went to his lawyers, and they said, "Not FDA approved. Don't touch it." So now he uses it in secret. So does a lot of other people, and we still struggle for money all the time. But this article we put up for you to download. This is macular degeneration, incurable macular degeneration. Every case that's come to us, we've reversed it, not just stopped its progress. And this is when you lose a piece of your field of vision. We've reversed it. They have regained their vision. 265,000 people every year in the U.S. are diagnosed with macular degeneration. If we could just do that one, and we have a computer program for it called iWatcher. If we could just do that one and tell them, what's the problem? Is it the cones? Is it the red receptors? What's going on? And we can do that because the computer program takes your voice, looks at the frequencies that are not in harmony, and gives us a report. People don't have to have macular degeneration anymore. Just as there's a symbol of elements, like chemistry, there's a fundamental elements system of sound that organizes our universe. One voice. Universe. One voice, one song. And we call it sonistry. Biochemical pathways equal bioacoustic mathways. And we use a 16 by 16 number grid to look at your brain, and I can tell you what you're going to die of by looking at certain places in your body, in your voice print. It says, I'm going to die of kidney failure. I don't have any kidney failure, but I certainly take better care of my kidneys now that I know that, because we can look right at your DNA and your RNA through your math. And it's easy. You've been looking for all of these ways to do this and guessing, and it's hard. This is provable scientific math. Math, the common language of every society. 1 and 1 is 2 everywhere. How's your back? Just oozes right down. Some people fight me over that box. So we'll just keep going. We have tapped into the idea of the potential of the body. Potential as it didn't happen yet, our great potential. Well, there's also a magnetic potential in your body. Just like driving down the road at 60 miles an hour, all the rules and regulations keep you on your side of the road. Well, all of these frequencies running around your body everywhere, a magnetic potential controls them. And if you read anything about modern string theory, it says that we're made of these infinitesimal, tiny, tiny strings. but they don't know what makes the strings make themselves into things. We do. We've regrown teeth and eyeballs and muscles and kneecaps. Greg, kneecaps, we've done. He wants his knees fixed. We can kick the body into growing what it needs to grow to return to its optimal form and function. The intention is beyond the secret. We're beyond the field. We are the field. We know how to control the field. And we're beyond the matrix, the living matrix that Bruce Lipton talks about, because we know what the matrix is. I had Bruce on my radio show the other day, and I said, tell me how we can do this practically. And he said, well, intention, you can pray, you can visualize, you can this, you can this, you can this. Hey, turn on a sound. Lazy man's way to do it. So we are beyond string theory. We went to the National Institute of Health with what we do, and they said, well, you're not conventional medicine, you're not a chiropractor, you don't fit there. You're not alternative, you're not instead of anything. You might be complementary, like massage, because we find out your back is a problem, we'll send you to a massage therapist or chiropractor. But really, they put us in this integrative or functional medicine. They didn't have a place to put us. We're not really medicine. Any therapy which has some high-quality scientific evidence of safety and efficacy, and we do have that. We can look at someone's voice and the octaves of where they have a problem in their voice. And if we have a biomagnetic problem, we know the signal isn't getting where it's supposed to go. So we look at maybe structural and biomagnetic together, and we reverse multiple sclerosis. So the levels of your voice, the octaves of your voice, are incredibly important. This is a little girl that was hypolexic. She did not generate speech. And she was autistic. If you said, Jocelyn, would you like a drink of water? She would say back to you, Jocelyn, would you like a drink of water? And that was your signal to give her one. She would parrot. We found out that they had given her a DPT shot, and it ruined her ability to use vitamin A. And we gave her the frequencies outside her body of vitamin A, and she turned around and said, this is a dolly. And we just nearly fell off our chairs. The first sentence she'd ever said. We have over 300 of these recovered autistics. A program called pre-vaccination risk factors. And we look at wheat allergy, eggs, milk allergies for these kids. It's based on evidence. We've done double-blind studies. We've done lab tests. We've worked with autistics, newborns, comatose, mentally challenged. What we do is evidence-based. This is one of our clients, Dr. Russ Rudy, who came to us with a diagnosis of multiple sclerosis. I said, I don't think you have multiple sclerosis. You don't fit the paradigm. You have a damaged spot in your spine. And they tested it out, and sure enough, he did. And we started giving him frequencies to re-innervate from the waist down his legs. Impossible. You can't put the nerves back, especially that much. But there's the lab test that proved we did. And we used what his voice told us, myristic acid and idiocobalamin, a form of B12 that supports the muscles. And he doesn't have multiple sclerosis. And he's not in a wheelchair anymore, and he's not running on a scooter, and he's back to work, and he got married again. And he has a great and wonderful life. You remember the stuff about swine flu, and we were threatened with it? Thank God 80% of you didn't make the call to get your shots. Well, we created a computer program to allow you to look at it. Not only that, but we created a paper called Countervailing Frequency Equivalents for Pneumonic Flu. And this is even the Spanish flu. And those of you who have Rife machines, there's the frequencies. You can download this from guardiansofthepeople.com, so you can have the frequencies in your hand. We also put these frequencies in a CD. And the CD came from James Marshall, who took a medication called Accutane, and it melted his large intestines. And he was in a hospital for nearly 2 years. They sent him home and said, "We can't help you, go die." He called us up. He'd heard me on Coast to Coast, called me up and said, "Can you help?" And I said, "I don't know, I'm willing to try." So we gave him the frequencies that his voice said he needed, even though I didn't know what they were. And he's getting well. And he said, "I want to give back. What do you need?" Well, one of the things, he and his wife, Renee, opened a bioacoustic center in Los Angeles called the Life Light Center. And for all the rest of us, he created a musical piece called La Ciel. And in this music piece is all those frequencies that are antidotes to swine flu. And these antidote frequencies have been tested. Thank you. They've been tested against Tamiflu-resistant swine flu. We know they work against colds, flus, sinus infections, bronchial, and asthma. We have, I think, 4 copies with us. So if any of you right now currently are getting the flu or have some nasal thing going on, come see us. Or you can download it from musicmanjimmy.com. He has another one called Signs, S-I-N-E-S, of Life. It's more meditative. This one is 8 minutes long, and it sounds like guitar jazz. We suggest you download it and put it in your medicine cabinet, because it took away walking pneumonia in less than 4 hours for an adult. Not in your music cabinet, in your medicine cabinet. I promised, so somebody talked to me about cancer, how you've reversed cancer, and I promised to show these today. The first thing we see with cancer in your vocal print is vitamin A goes very high and unusable, and catalase, which is that juicy stuff a nice fresh apple, that bubbly stuff, that's catalase, helps clean up your blood. Those are the first 2 things, and we can see cancer 4 or 6 years ahead of time before it ever manifests. Those are the 2 most common. Your Krebs cycle has faults in it. Your lack of detox. You can get cancer pathogenically. We had a case of cancer that was worms in the bowel. I didn't put that up here. We look at calcitonin, which controls the calcium levels of the body. We look at arachidonic acid, which makes 5' lipogenase, which feeds the cancer. We take away the cancer food, and the cancer goes away. We just reversed the case of pancreatic cancer. Took away the food. It went away. The other is cortisol for kinds of age-onset lymphocytic leukemia. When I did the research for that, I found out in 1929, they found that cortisol would reverse age-onset lymphocytic leukemia. But they kept it under wraps and wouldn't tell anybody, because who cares if the old folks die? These are some of the commonalities for wheat allergies. Low thiamine, B1. Do you know that in processing wheat, they take out 18 nutrients and they put back 12 and they call it enriched? And the biggest one they have modified right now in this genetically modified food is thiamine. So if you're eating bread and getting a lot of nasal congestion, try taking some thiamine with it. Low lysine, which is amino acid. Milk protein sensitivity. I'm hitting the laser button and fouling up everything. Low lysine, milk protein, low magnesium, especially if you have twitchy legs. It's low magnesium. And wheat. Low alanine, which helps you use magnesium. High carbonic anhydrase, which is a genetic thing about milk, and arachidonic acid and prostaglandin faults through a dirty liver. So some things that you can look at. And if I'm going too fast, buy the CD. Dolores could use the money. There are bioacoustic social issues. This is one of my favorite ones. All of you have been teenagers, right? You had that trouble with your parents, and you hated them. You hated to hear their words. You hated their talk. You hated everything about them. Well, it's because you build up an intolerance to the frequencies in their voice. It's a biological signal to get out. I got to check the time here. So it's one of the things that you can look at. I've got to hurry. This is another one, that the frequencies for the male body to make a square jaw and shoulders that are wide and a skinny belly, those are the same frequencies as forms of male hormones. So are young women choosing men that look like that because they also know they have the best chance of having good sperm? Or is it the looks? We don't know. We think it's the frequencies. This is what aspartame toxicity looks like if you ever get your vocal print done. So you can take your vocal print, eat whatever aspartame's in, Diet Pepsi or something, and then take your voice again. And if you got that pattern, you're allergic to it or sensitive to it. This is where you can look at a vocal print and see what fell off the scale. And in this case, the iron molecule fell off the scale, and she had an age-onset lymphocytic leukemia that we were able to help reduce. We believe in the body green. The body has the ability to heal itself, just like the earth renews itself. A green building helps renew itself. We think the body can support its own health through these computer programs that we want to provide to you, because you can monitor your health every day and see what's going on. You can diagnose issues that are happening. This is a family in Canada, and they went to doctors and hospitals. Nobody could figure out what was wrong with them. We did a vocal print for the mother, the daughter, and the additional baby. They all had the same toxin, carbon monoxide. So we had them check their car. Sure enough, they had this flex hose that was a problem and was sending carbon monoxide up into the carriage of the car. Then they started putting it together. The only time they felt bad was if they were in the car more than 20 minutes. So it can diagnose. It can help returning soldiers. Now, the Army paid us to do this project, and they've allowed us to release the post-traumatic stress disorder computer program to the public. So if any of you have this sort of thing going on in your community, get in touch with us. We can reverse fibromyalgia. This is a live video. It's a newsreel, and you can download it from our website, nutrasounds.com, and it proves that we can get rid of fibromyalgia pain. We use a little tone box that she's using, like the back box over here in the corner, and we entrain your brain waves. This is one of the people that we've helped. He had a motorcycle accident, and he ripped off the bottom part of his leg. They took meat from his back, bones from his hip, skin from his leg, and they rebuilt his leg, but it still looked pretty awful. And so he is an attorney, he's an engineer, and a tennis player. So he came to our backyard and started playing, and I started putting the sound in the environment, like we can put sound in the environment here. Kevin has hooked this up so all of you can have a back box for a few minutes. If anybody's feeling nauseous or anything, let me know and I'll turn it off, because we're not sure how it's going to affect people. We've never done that in public before. But his leg began to act like a leg. It wasn't that jelly piece of flesh hanging there. He can jump, he can run, he has no problem whatsoever. It took about 7 months to reconstruct his leg. It took a few days to get him out of pain, and that's about normal, about 7 weeks. We also have this little back box. Do you not have a back pain anymore? Anybody else want to use it? Pink shirt back here. Can you go tell her how to use it? They can give you one out in the booth. We'll look and see if it's a trapezius or rhomboids or deltoid, or we'll see what it is and see what you need to support. We know that with these miracles of non-medicine that we're doing, we're looking at the energy matrix of the universe as it shows inside your body. We're doing self-healing using the potential, the magnetic potential that we've tapped into. And in defiance of science, we're curing the incurable. And it's all reality-based, and we want to share it with you because from birth to death, we use sounds to express our needs and emotions, but there are additional layers of information hidden within our words. As man evolved, language became those levels of intricate harmony nestled inside the structures of our frequencies. And we've been able to look at that to help people understand themselves and others. You can start a business with this. And with this little computer, this free computer program we gave you, you can start a business. You can't lie to your own voice. The words can lie, but this computer program will pick up what's real. And we hope that all of you will begin to join us in using some of these computer programs and teaching them in your community. Our aim is to teach you to take it to your own community. And I think to survive, the human race needs bioacoustic biology. For one thing, we're able to kill resistant pathogens. We need less than a day to really get the frequencies to pass on to you, like swine flu. We just did the Oregon fungus. We did bird flu when that came out for the country of Georgia. U.S. didn't want it, the country of Georgia did. So we want to put together groups in each community, little pods of people who are trained in this. So if there comes a poisoning and biohazards and chemtrails, and we have the antidotes for chemtrails, that you can easily put it on a speaker and broadcast it to your neighbors, broadcast it to your entire community, because we're going to need to take care of ourselves. There are no solids. We exist in a universe that consists entirely of energy. Einstein proved this. Frequency defines it. And this whole lecture has been about frequency defines it. So, is frequency our new medicine or an ancient mystery revealed? It's both. Vocal codes, the doorway to a new medicine. And we want to share this with you. Here's some of our addresses. While, can you put up the workshop stuff? And I tried to finish right at 4. I'm a little after, so I'll hurry through that one. It's the workshop. It says well, you look up Canon and you'll see workshop. This is about taking that computer program and teaching you how to use it and teaching some of the background of how to use it. I'm going to move through the material quickly, but it's going to look at frequency as color, frequency as astrology, frequency as healing, frequency as soul note, and then how to put it all together. How you doing back here with the back box? You're better. Where was your back pain? Okay, it uses those little multifida muscles and just massages them with sound and makes the back pain go away. That's hard to believe. We have a set of frequencies that will accelerate bone healing. Remember the tricorder on Star Trek? Somebody broke their arm. Okay, not broke it anymore. We're not that fast, but we can certainly accelerate bone healing. And we can use sound when there has been anaphylactic shock for bee sting and peanut butter and those kinds of things. That's been tested. It'll just look for Canon and it'll come up. On the Toshiba. Okay, go look at the whole Toshiba and it'll show up. It's on there. Should I come around there?
Sure.
Whoops. Everybody heard me trip.
Canon too?
Okay, go up here and put Canon in there. Canon workshop. Okay. Okay. You can come and help me fix my computer out front. Will it be a few minutes while it comes in? It's coming? Okay. We're going to look at a nano voice. Nano means small, and it's a personality profiler. How many of you have come over there and got your sounds done? A couple of you have, and I said, did it get you? Did you really think it wasn't gonna? And they said, I'm surprised. You did? What happened with yours? Should we bring you the mic? She was just wandering by, and I grabbed her.
It gave me pretty good insight into myself, but it said there was about 5 notes missing from my voice. There were about 5 notes missing, and it felt if I were talking about a subject that interested me, those notes would be included. I didn't get a printout of it, so I can't remember offhand exactly what it said, but it did describe me pretty good.
Are you the one where I said you want to help other people with words? And you turned around and said you're a teacher? You're not the one? Okay.
No.
But there was a teacher that came out. I said, look at this. It's all about words and how you use words to help and teach people. And she said, I've been a teacher for 20 years. Yes? You did? Did it get you?
Well, you said that I like to learn and share what I learned, and then I said, yes, I've been a teacher for over 30 years.
Oh, you're the one. Yeah. Okay. But it's surprising. To Mike, it's surprising what it will tell you about yourself. We had a lady who her husband was having an affair, and it resulted in a baby. And she came to us and she said, I don't know what to do. And I said, well, tell me what you want to do. And she said, I want to kill him. And it narrowed her voice way down till it was not harmonic. And I said, try again. That's not what you really want. And so she talked about this like 15 different tries. And finally, at the end, I want to go on with my life. I want to be with my church. I want to be with my friends. And you could see this powerful balance in her chart. And so it allowed her to go on and to do that. But in the beginning, she was stuck in that societal thing that if my husband's with somebody else, there's something wrong with me. You know, and I asked her, is there a chance, any chance, at any time that you would share him willingly? And she said, no, absolutely not. I said, what if there were only 3 people left on the planet, him and the 2 of you, and you had to repopulate the planet? Would you share? And she said, yeah. I said, so it depends on the circumstance. So we're going to look at this personality profiler and its creative ways to use the nano and what to look at. And there is the address where you can download it, nanovoice.org. And remember our secret word. And if we got new people who came in and you don't have a card to download the program and you don't know the secret word, ask somebody beside you. And we talked a little bit about the secret and what the secret left out, that it gives you that need, and I think it shows that people are ready. It's one of the best-selling, quickest-selling videos ever. So we know that people are ready to do this. But it's hard, digging in and finding out what's real for you, what you really want. And this computer program will tell you. So it's a nano voice personality profiler. It's made by InnerSense software. And we're going to start with just the colors of a painter's wheel. Now, draw a circle really quick and make an X in it, because we're going to go 12 different sections around here really quick. So we're going to start with C there in the note of red. C sharp is red-orange. D is orange. D sharp is gold. E is yellow. Too fast, someone said. Buy the video. F is yellow-green. F sharp is green, forest green. G is sort of green-blue. G sharp is blue. A is sort of blue-violet. A sharp is violet. And B is red, violet, or magenta. Now let's take this a step further, put it back on our wheel that we said is a signature sound starter wheel, and let's add to this that the note of C is Aries, the note of C sharp is Taurus, D is Gemini, D sharp is Cancer. And all we did was take the frequencies of color and relate that to the frequency of a sound, and then added astrology to it. Leo is E, Virgo F, Libra F sharp, Scorpio G, G sharp Sag, A is Capricorn, A sharp is Aquarius. Hear people yelling, slow down, slow down. And B is Pisces. So with those things in common, sound and color and astrology, let's learn to use the program. If you are a Virgo, the note of F would be your basic soul note. Now, they used to give you your soul note or your mantra by your age or your geographic location. And we are so mobile these days, and information is flying everywhere, that people usually are not their base. They are sometimes the base, and sometimes it's opposite. And sometimes it's the two notes together even that causes them to have their foundation. So let's say if you were a Cancer person, a D sharp, one note back usually is about guilt, and one note up usually is about worry. So the one note back, the D, is about things you did in the past and you feel guilty about. One note up, you're worried. How to really find your soul note at this moment? What color do you like? And just associate it with this wheel. When it's directly across, the Cancer would be your base or what you are learning physically, and that might be management and not jealousy and all the things that go along with the Cancer qualities of trying to manage people's lives behind the scenes, some of the passive-aggressive stuff. And if it's across the way at Capricorn, then it's a process you're doing. And this is all self stuff. So pick a color. What's your favorite color? Violet. Red violet, blue violet, violet. Here? So you're right now an A sharp by what you are experiencing physically, and that's immune system. And across the way from that, A sharp and E, which is your process, and that's immune and nasal and allergies and airborne allergies kind of thing. So you can put all that together. If you are dealing with somebody outside of you, it's the notes that are perpendicular. So you just count 4 sections away. And so in the case of the Cancer person, I can't move this around for you, or I would, it'd be the Aries and the Libra traits, how to deal with power, giving too much power up, a Libra trait, taking too much power, an Aries trait. So you look at this chart that we have put up here at Guardians of the People for you, and you find your color. This is your foundation across the way, 180 degrees, that's your processing. And then perpendicular is your outside choices and who influences you. That's all about soul notes kind of stuff. That note correlate chart is generalizations, and it's an advanced part of that is these little cards I gave you guys with your notes on them. This will tell you that F and F sharp is male sexuality. It's the back, the lower portion of the back. It's the kidneys. So it'll give you all of that information. Very handy. So Nano Voice, we're going to start to learn to do it. You've downloaded it, nanovoice.org. What's the next step? It looks like this once you've downloaded it. This is truly free. No commercials. We don't ask your name. We don't ask your email. We don't ask anything. Anybody downloaded it so far? Nobody. This is really free. And people say, it's free. What's wrong with it? And I said, nobody complained when Oprah gave away cars. So we look at this nano voice, and you can see that it's built into these notes, C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E, and so forth, and it has 12 columns. Now, how do we use this program? Well, really, how do you download it? When you start using this nano voice, you can start your own wellness practice, you can set your own pay scale, you can help move medicine forward, and it's free software. And the class is free to those of you who know the secret code and don't talk about it. It auto prints. You just speak into it, 5 little clicks of a button, it auto prints your report. You don't have to do much except hand them the report, but if you want to learn how to do advanced on it, you can come to that class using that secret code. It can be done over the phone. We do it online a lot. It answers questions, and it shows compatibilities. You're not sure you can work for that boss? Get your boss's vocal print and look at it. Your girlfriend's. See, and I'll show you how to look at the compatibilities. So you'll need a microphone if you don't have one. If you have one on your computer already, it's probably okay. Any ratty microphone will... Skype probably will work. Probably not as accurate, but we have a dead man zone in there. A 6% chop out, so it can't mistake one note for the other. But if you want a decent microphone, this little quill pen looking thing is Logitech USB, and you can get it at Amazon or Walmart. It's about $20 when shipping, so about $25 altogether. And that'll get you by. That's a good mic. It has a sound card in it, and it's calibrated to our computer program. So that's not bad. So when you go to NanoVoice, this is what it looks like, the website, and it says, click here for a free download. And it'll tell you when the next class is, and it'll tell you where to get your class. And probably other things are running around there too. If you just say Logitech USB, there's only one. Yeah, there's only one. So this is what it looks like, and you just click here to download, and it goes cha-cha-cha-cha-cha-cha and does it. There's none of this trapment. There's no commercials, nothing there. And it will put this little icon on your desktop, a little nano voice icon. And then you double click on that little icon, and it brings up the computer program. And you're now ready to use it. You just hit accept right there. And that accept means that you are doing this for research purposes. And if you find anything interesting, you'll send it to us, I hope. There's the little accept right there that you have to click. And if you don't accept, you don't get to use the program. Because this is for research purposes. This is what it looks like. This is where we'll start. This is a nano template. So when we begin to use this, we want to look at balance in the chart. And you can see in this case, D sharp is way too high and A is way too low. Now logic would tell you that we need to give this person A, or the color of Capricorn blue. In this case, it was not true. If A had worked for this guy, he would have been an allopathic responder. What you see is what you get. We had to use D sharp on him, what he already had too much of. And when we did that, you can see that they're exactly across the wheel from each other. D sharp and A. They balance each other out. And when we gave him the D sharp, this is what happened to his voice. It became coherent all the way across. And that's what you want to look for. You can look at that A sharp and B as the crown chakra and just run right on down the body. So you can get a good idea of where the trouble is, and his is in digestion. D sharp really is respiration of the cells, the fire of the cells. So again, you're going to use your note correlate chart to go down to D sharp and see what's really going on. Cellular oxygenation, transport of minerals and oxygen to the eyes and muscles. And he lacked A, but we had to give him D sharp. Just like a homeopathic will give you more of what you already have. You have poison ivy, they get a little tincture of poison ivy and make your body fight. So that's one of the problems that color and light therapists make. They try to use color and light together. And if that's okay if they're a homeopathic responder, but if they're an allopathic responder, it will not work. Oh, I was going to tell you about it. C to F, that's left brain. And F sharp to B, that's right brain. So you can see where you lay on the chart. You're talking about this and you're left brained for that chart. So you can do quite a lot of interpretation about your person and how they think. If you're a teacher, how they should be taught. A teacher who teaches all logic and facts, they're a left brain teacher. And the teacher who teaches the right brain is holistic. They may give them a historical novel that they want to teach out of. So again, bringing up this chart and looking at each one of these notes and where they lay on that chart makes a big difference. Is it going to be this bottom, C to F, left brain, hot colors, or F sharp to B, right brain? And you can usually tell your brain dominance from this. And that's a big clue on how to treat somebody, how to react with them. For instance, you've got somebody that's coming in and they have twitchy legs, what's that called? Restless leg syndrome. And there's a clue about this. If you say to them, were you a bedwetter as a child, and they're left brain, they'll freak out on you. Of course not. But you have to say, was anybody in your family a bedwetter as a child? And with restless legs and this clue about bedwetting, you have a person who can't use magnesium. So this is the kind of thing they'll teach you in the full course. So in learning to use this, you're going to go up to the little thing that says microphone. And we have something out here for you to learn to use this. So you're going to hit the microphone and then hit OK and go on with it. It's 5 little clicks of a button, and I know I have to hurry here. Let me look at my time. Okay. It will automatically stop on its own, and you'll see 500 here. It will count this for you. And if you just walk out to our booth, we'll sit there with you and teach you how to use this program and how to punch the buttons, because it's very easy. And there's a little printout, too, that tells you step 1 to do this, step 2 to do this, step 3 to do this, a little booklet. So we begin to look at the frequencies, and we look at how tall a column is, and in this case, this is the note of G, that is a dominant note, and it's red. G stands for something physical. It also stands for the ability to use minerals. It also stands for the shoulders. And red can mean pain, and it also can mean reaction. A red G means, I got to do something, I got to do it right now about something physical. Don't care if it's right, just got to do it, got to do it. You don't want this kind of guy on your planning committee. So you'll know how to place people in jobs. The note of F here, a good planner, very good planner, good at carrying out the plans at F sharp, and very good at taking the plans and getting them into physical fruition. This would be somebody who could be the foreman on the job that was already planned, and they had to follow the plan. But don't let them make the plan. You'll get a hodgepodge building. So you want to save this now on your disk and just give it whatever name you think you want to give it, Linda 23797 or something. But if you just say Linda, every time there's a Linda, it'll dump the last one. So you have to give it a good name. So you're going to punch the buttons, and there's a little diagram of how to do that. Do this first and go there. Then you're going to save it, And now we can go interpret it and print it. And the printout is automatic. You don't have to do anything. And we just hand it to you as soon as I can get my printer to work. So that's the logistics of the program. And all of those instructions are right there with the download. So that's kind of why I hurried through it. And we've got some time constraints here too. So this is Jay Leno talking about when he was taking back his show. And he was on Oprah. And he said, "It broke my heart." Fibber. If it had broken his heart, it would have been blue, because that's the emotional stuff. And his note here is E, and that's words and expression. So this is from his head, mental, yellow, and he's got some green there for the future. But he's not telling the truth. When you've got that much missing out of somebody's print, it's not the truth. They're trying to hide something, or they don't know it. And we hit the computer program. That's where their echo is. I can't stand in the middle of this room. The echo's crazy. So you hit the button, and it says your highest note is associated with the expression of what you consider to be your physical domain. Now, doesn't it tell you about he's taking his show back, and the computer program got him? Having dominion over your physical environment resides with this note. Now, did it get his clock or what? Your highest note is also associated with the expression of duty to work and accomplishment, the ability to see the flaws in a plan and make it right. Highest notes associated with the expression of self-worth and self-power, self-approval. So the computer answered that. Did he want to go back? Absolutely. Did he think it was his right to go back? Absolutely. So you're going to look at how vertical, how high something is. Normal, if you have about 500 hits, is going to be about 42. So this is the note of C, and C stands for self-power. So somebody that has 42, their ego is pretty much okay and under control, and they're looking good and get along well with people. But if it's in the 20s, then that's somebody you can run over. Do you want that kind of employee? Tell them what to do and they'll run to it. What if it's 80? They're going to fight you tooth and nail. What kind of partner do you want? Somebody with a level ego? Somebody you can run over? So it depends on what you want. There's no bad frequencies. They just are. What do you want to do with them? If you have a number sky high and it's Epstein-Barr, you want to be concerned. But if it's sky high and it's a longevity gene, leave it alone. So you're going to look at how high those columns are. And you're going to look at the colors of the column. Now, this is McCain and Obama during the first presidential debate. And this is a composite of their note of E, and it's just almost identical. So they're both emotional there, blue. They're both looking for the future, green, and you can look at that when someone's blue, they're emotional. Green, you can remember that by farmers. They think of the future, they plan ahead. Yellow is intellect. Don't really have a good tie-in to intellect. Alan Alda's chart is almost all yellow. So you know how he plays head games in MASH? Are you old enough to remember that? And red is reactive and responsive, like a fireman. So you can remember those associations and look at the colors of these notes. Now, this is Rod Blagojevich, who was trying to sell Obama's seat. Okay, what is he? Which is the highest note? Yellow what? The note of C. So his ego is in his head. So we got him here. And one of the things he's doing is looking at all of this emotion. Look at how much emotion is in this chart. And when he was defending himself, what he took with him was a bunch of handicapped people, in one of them that I saw, to elicit emotions from people. So you can look at this, and overall his emotion is all over the place, but it's very emotional. But the big thing is his ego in his head. He thought he had a right to do this. So if you could just remember the yellow, fact, lawyer, the fireman, react first, feel, minister. Is Kevin or my people back there at all? No, they aren't. Okay, I just needed them for a second. Okay, just some tags that you can learn this from for people who are right brain and need the color, and people who are left brain and need the words. There it is. Fact, lawyer, yellow. React first, fireman, red. Future, do, accomplish, green, farmer, feel, minister. So blue, if we had a note of B, and B is a love of humanity, not necessarily one person at a time, and it was blue and high B, that would be a person who loved humanity, who loved helping humanity, not one person at a time, but they loved humanity. Yellow, intellect, like a lawyer. Green, farmer. So if you had a high note of red in C, you had somebody with a reactive ego. Not a good boss. So think, react, accomplish, and feel are your key words here. Now let's try putting this together. What's the dominant note in this chart? There's a C sharp that's yellow and an equal F at red. This person is in conflict. They want to think about it, and don't want to do about it. I want to think about it, I want to do about it. They don't know which way to jump. So you can look at the conflict in your own life in this way, using this silly little computer program that you got for free. The dominant note in there is red, so this is a reactive person, and notice that's President Bush. High emotion in C, that's good. Boy, that's fuzzy on that left side, or is that my eyes? So a little bit of emotion there in C, but we got a lot of reaction in, I guess that's an E, not an F. Yeah. Reactive E, reactive words, reactive plans, reactive carry out the plans. I don't know what he was talking about. Can I have a chair? I'm going to steal this chair. It says reserved, but I'm stealing it. So this is Leno with Oprah again, and his high note here is G. Thinking physical, yellow, mental thinking physical, red, do something. So he is going to do it whether he thinks it's the right thing to do or not, and you can tell he thinks it isn't the right thing to do because it's red. And it's not coherent. See how everything's scattered? His ideas about this are very, very scattered. We punched the button, and this is what came out. Your highest notes deal with expression of words, both written and oral. The world of creative self-expression resides with your notes. Self-worth you want to access quickly, but you look at this and you say, he really doesn't trust this decision. He doesn't trust what he's thinking or what he's doing. He isn't cohesive in his vocal print, means he's not cohesive in his thoughts about it. Same kind of thing here. Lots of red. Reaction, reaction, reaction. He wants a quick, physical resolution to this. that doesn't make too many people unhappy. Now that's the note of D, that's kind of high. And people who have the note of D are servers. They don't want anybody to be unhappy. And they will bend over backwards to make you happy. But they want a return. Here is Leno. Now, what do you think about that vocal print? He's a multitasker. Every color is there. He's telling the truth. He's very balanced. He's aware on many, many levels. He's emotional. A lot of it's blue there, where he's very emotional, but he's trying to make room for the future with all of that green. He's telling the truth. Look at the difference. Leno knows it was not the right thing to do. When your voice is unbalanced and so scattered like that, people can feel it when they're around you. They don't want to be in your energy because you're not coherent. You're not cohesive. Here is some information about the note of C. This is just the C Sona card, and it just relates to ego, and I'm going to hurry through these because we don't have a lot of time. You can come out there and look at them at the chart. These are the Sono cards. C and F sharp to go together as a pair. This is what a blue C would look like, very high. This is an emotional ego. They'll fly off the handle. It's all your fault. You didn't do it right. Not my thing. This is Kevin Trudeau. Do you want to know if Kevin Trudeau is just a salesman or if he's a real humanitarian? You want to know that? Kevin is a real humanitarian, but he's in conflict about it. This is his red humanitarian over here in the note of B. He loves humanity. He wants to do things for humanity, but he's in total conflict with his ego and his head. So he's both. But look, the humanitarian is higher than the note of C. And the biggest thing that I don't trust about this chart for Kevin Trudeau is it has no money. F and F sharp is money. It's also low back pain. It's also male reproduction. But can you see the conflict in left-brained yellow and right-brain react? I would hate to work for Kevin Trudeau. I think he would be very volatile as a boss. But he does have a love of humanity here, and a big one. This is posted for you. The whole printout's about 6 pages long. This is on guardiansofthepeople.com also. That Guardians of the People group, that's the group where we're giving away the rest of the software. C sharp, Taurus, tendons, ligaments, willful, stubborn. C sharp and G are pairs. This is something we did for James Gandolfini using our program BioDiet, and they asked us to check why he couldn't lose weight, which is D sharp, E, and F. D sharp is dopamine, E is norepinephrine, and F is serotonin. What it ended up being is showing us, yes, he has problems with epinephrine, but more than that, he has a heart problem, a genetic heart problem. So we were able to deliver that information to them. The computer will tell you what you want to know, but then it'll say, but consider this. D, caretaker, mother hen, little red hen kind of personality. Opposite D and G sharp. This is a volatile D. They will help you change a spare tire if it's right on the spot. But don't ask them to help you move. They won't do it because they'd rather be out drinking beer. They want to do whatever is spontaneous. The red is very spontaneous. D is caretaker, spontaneous caretaker. Emotional caretaker, turn it all blue. They will be the caretaker. They may resent it. You have the ranges of this. You have a middle of the road, and then you have a far left and a far right with this. And a blue like this, that's a caretaker, that's an extreme, may complain every step of the way. They'll do it, but they'll complain, and you'll hear about it a lot. This is D and D sharp together. They want to care for you whether you want it or not. They also have problems with the liver and delivery of oxygen. D sharp and A are pairs. D sharp is oxygen at a cellular level. A lot of people who have emphysema have this note out. Asthma, bronchitis has this note out. D sharp and A are opposites. Cancer and Capricorn. We do have some of these sono cards out there with the sun signs on them, I believe. We can check it out. E and A sharp are pairs. And if this is out, your immune system's in stress. And there's also some doubt about whether or not you're telling the truth. This is Janet Napolitano, head of Homeland Security, talking about how bad we need to have the flu shots. She wants it to be true because it's all spirit. She wants her words to be true, but she knows they're not. E and A sharp must balance. Now, if it's somebody that has a real poor immune system, it's not going to balance. But if you're asking people about their dog and it comes up lying, it's probably not anything significant. But if they're talking about something this tremendously significant that everybody should get a flu shot because we're all going to die, and we can monitor those kinds of things, you can see if they're telling you the truth. A salesman? She just took her shot. I didn't mean to flip through so many things there. But we use this on most political speeches now. And we did this for the elections in Canada. We also did it for the elections here. And you'll see some of that coming up. So F and B are opposites. Pairs. Kidney, circulation, small circulation. Not the arteries, so the veins and capillaries are all about the note of B. And B controls every fluid in your body moving. Edema, heart circulation, all of that. This is Roger, what is this? Clemens. And he's saying they're in green for a good reason. He really thinks he had a right to do it and it's nobody's business. And he said, just didn't happen, didn't take the drugs. Your sense of achievement is closely tied to emotional gratification, more so than fortune or fame. He really thought he had given his life and he had a right to do this and nobody else had a right to question him. So that high F, I have a plan for the future, I'm going to carry it out. I'm going to do whatever I need to do to protect my future. So that green stuff is usually really sturdy, stable people. If you want a committed partner, green is the way to go. Now, they might not be very responsive. They'll be slow in reacting, but a green partner is in it for the long haul. So C and F sharp are partners. And now we're right back to the beginning again, where we're looking at F sharp, very high. This is Phelps that was caught sucking on a bomb, or whatever you do with a bomb. And he said he made some bad decisions, and he did. He really feels badly, but he feels like he ought to be able to do what he wants to do on his own time. And look at that blue C sharp. C sharp is all about trust and what's fair. And he doesn't believe it's fair that we jumped into that. So G is all about head games, neurotransmitters, Minerals. If you have the note of G in stress, you probably have electrolytes and minerals in stress. Whoops. So C sharp and G are a pair. And when that's out, for sure, your body is not collecting the minerals it needs. You want to know about Paula and Simon's real relationship? There has been one. This is Simon talking about Paula, and you look at his emotions. Now, from his act on TV, you wouldn't think he was really emotional, would you? But he's mainly emotional. And about managing emotions even, that note of A, blue, very emotional. And this is what the computer said. Great deal of spiritual energy going on here with emotions leading at every level. Would you think that of Simon if you saw him on American Idol? We got his number. So A sharp, D sharp and G. We're going backwards here, going the other direction of one of the pieces of the pairs. This is Bush saying, when the guy threw the shoe at him, and he said, I didn't feel the least bit threatened by it. Fib. Because here is G and G sharp, and that's about physical reactions, physical reality, physical safety. So his words said, I didn't feel the least bit threatened by it. High G and G sharp. But he couldn't really say anything else and keep it politically capped. But we could tell from his voice that he was not being truthful, but he's got this blue fairness thing going on here. He's trying to be fair to the whole situation. But he was emotional and he was scared. James Gandolfini again. Reactive F. When you see high red F, don't cross this person. They will get you. Especially with that blue C sharp about fairness. So this is D sharp and A again. We went through the other direction. Now we're going to look at A. D sharp is oxygenation. A sharp is immune system again. E and A sharp together can mean epilepsy. It means not oxygenating the food stuff. And that it can cause allergies. When there is a gap like this, and this is the guy that took Obama's picture and made a poster out of it. He took it from Manny Garcia and then claimed it as his head shepherd. Farley, I couldn't remember his name. But when you see that big gap like that in the middle, this man is not, he doesn't believe himself. So you look at that big gap as a separation in their thought process. So you've got all this reaction on the right brain. He's trying to defend himself, but he knows he doesn't have the right. So look for that big gap, because that person is not truthful. So B and F is the last pair. Tiger Woods. He apologized to his wife, not because he wanted to, but because he wanted her not to feel the public scrutiny. She demanded of him that he say in public that she never hit him. That's what that apology is all about. He's doing it for a purpose. He did the apology for a purpose. And the purpose was E, words, F, make a plan, F sharp, follow through the plan, to a physical, useful solution. This is not something he wanted. He did it because she made a promise to him, and if he did this, she would do something. When you get it all clustered in the middle like that for something useful, he's doing it, but he's doing it because somebody else forced him to. Right, no emotions in it. This is Palin and Biden. They're almost identical. This was the vice presidential debate. You can see that Palin has more emotion there. There's more blue. And Biden has a little bit more green. So Palin is a feeler and Biden is a doer. And look at where they have missing. C, little emotions, C, lots of emotion with Biden. I thought that was really telling. That the note of C, ego, emotion, in Palin, her ego was get it done. And in Biden, they were about equal, feel it, and then get it done. But I was surprised that Biden had more emotion than Palin here in the beginning. But you can do this compatibility with any couple. But I thought they were very similar. Whoops. This is the set of sono cards that we have out there that you can either look at or purchase. We're a nonprofit 501c3, so you can take it off as a donation. And I hope this leaves you with the idea that you can't lie with your own voice, and if somebody tries it with you, you can catch them. If you want. But do you want to know the truth? And the rest of it is just practice, 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 practice. Think of what would happen. Okay. What would happen if everybody had to tell the truth? Our world would be in chaos. So with this little computer